Welcome to Ask Joe. This is the Friday question and answer session on Drinks Coach UK, at Drinks Coach UK on Instagram and Twitter. My own personal feed is at Vinesack, and you're watching the Drinks Coach UK on YouTube. Now, I've enlisted my lovely wife to ask me questions which you've kindly sent in. So what's the first question, Emma?
What red wines are best served chilled? That's from Sabrina in Leicestershire.
Right, hello Sabrina in Leicestershire. You can chill quite a lot of red wines. The red wines that tend to chill best are the ones which have very high fruit content and very low tannin content. For an example, a slightly jammy-ish Chilean Merlot, which might be a bit a bit flabby and a bit bland. If you chill it down, it tastes a lot more attractive, actually. You can even make a sorbet out of it, believe it or not. Just stir it up with some sugar and some lemon juice and put it in the freezer, and you can make a granita out of it, and it's actually rather nice. In fact, I did that with Beaujolais Nouveau once when I was running an odd bin store many years ago. Okay, the other wines that famously are chilled are Beaujolais. Beaujolais has never been cooler. I'm going to be involved in some activity with Beaujolais in the summer, so hopefully you'll see quite a lot of Beaujolais on this channel, and I want people to know what a fantastic wine it is. They're not really chilled as much as served at cellar temperature, so you're looking at sort of real ale bitter temperature, just not warm. Okay, but it helps to tighten up the wine, make them more attractive, gives them more tannic structure in the mouth, which is all very, very good if you're serving them with food. Okay, what's the next question?
What's your favourite curry and wine pairings? That's off the back of your lamb boona mention the other day.
Oh, yes.
That's from Maddie in Essex.
Yes, on the Chilean show, I did mention lamb boona and Carmenere. It really works. But if you think about the characteristics that Carmenere has, and just to reiterate, Carmenere is a variety which is grown in quite large quantities in Chile, but in very small quantities elsewhere. It has a kind of a capsicum green bell pepper characteristic, which works very well because a boona has lots of chilled char-grilled peppers in. So that works very well. But other wines like that work well too. Cabernet Franc works really well, especially if it's from a New World country where it's a bit softer. You don't want wines with tannin. Tannins, that's a dry, furry sensation in the gums. That doesn't work with dried spices and chili. It just dries everything up. So when you've got hot food, it's best to go for flavours which are a bit softer. Don't discount white wine. It's easier to match a white wine with curry than a red. The simple reason being that you're not matching the meat. You don't go, right, what goes with lamb tonight? You're going, what goes with boona tonight? What goes with Rogan Josh? What goes with whatever English or authentic curry you happen to have. It's not the meat that matters. You're matching it with the strong flavours of the spices. So a lot of curries are tomato based, and the tomato based curries tend to go very well with Sauvignon Blanc. And the reason for that is bell peppers, green peppers and red peppers, tomatoes, Sauvignon Blanc, and indeed things like coriander all share a common chemical which is called 2,4-methoxypyrazine. We call it MP in the trade, which is the flavour of green, the smell of grass cut on a park lawn, the smell that you get when you rip open an expensive packet of tomatoes on the vine. So Sauvignon Blanc as a white wine goes with more curries than red wines do. Next question, please.
What are the main differences between Prosecco, Champagne and Cava?
That's a whole show, or maybe more than a show. And maybe I should just do that. I'll do a Prosecco, a Cava and a Champagne, and we'll take our time over that. But loosely speaking, Prosecco's made a different way to Cava and Champagne, which are both wines which have been made in the bottle. But not only that, they start off as a wine and then they're fermented again. Prosecco is made in one go in what they call a Charmat tank, which is a hermetic pressured tank, and then it goes through a centrifuge and gets spun out. So in loose terms, and it's not an indictment on quality. Prosecco is made exactly the same way lager is, and they use lager yeast to do it. Where Cava is made very loosely like a champagne, or very similar to a champagne, but they spend less time over it, so it's a slightly fresher, slightly lower acid style. Yeah.
What is the easiest cocktail to make at home if you don't have any equipment? That's from Katie in Ascot.
The easiest cocktail to make at home is the Negroni. You don't even need a cocktail. You don't need a jar. You just need a large glass with ice in. Pour one egg cup of gin, 1 egg cup of vermouth, and 1 egg cup of Campari. Stir it together. That's a Negroni. Put in a wedge of orange, a wheel of orange. Give it a twist so it's got some orange oil in it. That is a Negroni. Utterly delicious drink. If that's a bit punchy for you, you can have a Negroni Spagliato, which is just the bitters, the vermouth and the bitters, and then just top it up with prosecco instead of putting gin in. And even if you want it a little lighter than that and you just want a soft drink, Campari and soda was all the rage in the 60s and 70s. I used to drink one with my father before dinner. Campari and vermouth mixed together with soda is called an Americano. There you go. Nice and simple, no mucking about. And gin is pretty trendy right now, eh? Yep.
If you were a grape variety, what would it be? From James on the Isle of Wight.
James on the Isle of Wight. Okay, James. You've probably got your own opinion. But I think it's like Cabernet Franc because it's my favourite. Cabernet Franc is a grape variety which has always been sort of hiding in the wings, but really is the beginning of all those wines that I studied making in Bordeaux back in the day. Cabernet Franc is a wonderful variety, and it has concentration, it has the ability to age, it has perfume, it has edge, it has minerality, it has all the things that I look for in a red wine, and is very rarely jammy, which, as you probably already guessed after a week, is something I don't like in red wines. Yeah.
Which historical figure would you most like to share a bottle of wine with? From Mick in Clapham.
Well, I think my wife and I probably share similar ideas about this. There are people that I would like to meet because Emma's introduced me to art, which would be fascinating people to meet. I would love to have met David. I would love to have met Caravaggio, people like that. But if I was going to give you the Luddites answer, the pre-Emma answer, it would be Bill Hicks, the comedian. Always wants to meet that man. I saw him at the Edinburgh Festival in the Fringe, and I always wanted him to become president of the United States. Anybody who doesn't know who Bill Hicks is, he's a left-wing libertarian who sadly died of prostate cancer a long time ago. Pancreatic cancer, thank you. But was the funniest comedian alive. Absolutely brilliant. What can I say? Yeah.
So, where are your tea towels from? This is from Claire in Wimbledon.
Right, there's a double answer. Bit of a Percy, first of all, using some urban slang there. Emma's dearest friend died about this time last year, falling off a horse, sadly. Godfather, yeah, but very, very close friend. And he was a very, very nice man, Peter Davis. And these were hanging up in his bungalow when we had to help sort it out. And she just thought it'd be nice to keep it as a sort of a modern arts homage to Peter. We don't wipe any cutlery on that stuff. It's just there just to break up the wall a little bit. And that's from Sophie Allport.
That's the web address.
And that's the web address, www.sophieallport.com. They're actually just shut for a couple of weeks at the moment. I did check last night, but they're still making really lovely things for the house. Okay, yes, next.
Were your shorts originally trousers that you've reupholstered? Chris in Sevenoaks would like to know.
Okay, Chris in Sevenoaks, yes, I don't believe in throwing out perfectly good trousers, especially if I'm hanging around in a flat and no one can see me. Yeah, I suppose I was trying to reflect my in-house wear in the lockdown situation, but I think people got scared of my calves, so I had to change that. The response wasn't great. So I've been putting long trousers on since. Yes, thank you, Chris. Yes, they were a pair of jeans from Tesco, I think, that just tore at the knee. Yes, next.
What new wine skill or tip have you discovered whilst in lockdown?
Blimey. I've learnt to throw away less wine. As a journalist, I get lots of wine, but we're using wine in all sorts of creative ways in the kitchen, aren't we, darling? And we're making all sorts of lovely dishes. So, with wine, because I'm here and I can't go out, and these wines start piling up, it's almost impossible to drink everything that I put on this show. So we've been using it in other ways. Yeah. Wine is a very creative condiment in the kitchen.
Instagram questions now.
Okay.
What is your number one wine farm to visit when lockdown is over? From Charlie Oliver.
Charlie Oliver, thanks for asking the question from Insta. There are a couple in this country which are really great. There's our friends up in High Clandon who have won awards for this. They have a wonderful gallery where you can go and have a nice cup of coffee. They do food events there, overlooking the Camden, the Surrey Hills. And they make a small amount of very high quality sparkling wine, and I know they'd be very, very pleased to see you. They've got a wonderful art gallery there. It's a really nice place to hang out on a Sunday if you've got nothing better to do, and the views are incredible. You can see all the way to the bridges east of London, the Dartford Bridge.
And they won the award for Best Cellar Door.
Yeah, they won award for Best Cellar Door 3 years in a row. Also, I'd strongly recommend that there are some lovely places to go in Kent. Chapel Down is a full day's experience, but if you want to go to Hampshire, there are 4 or 5 wineries, well, actually more than 5, all in a very small area, and they all have wonderful sort of reception areas. You've got people like Hambledon, Jenkin Place, Coates and Seeley, Exton Park with Corrine Seeley, They have this wonderful subterranean wine cellar, wine bar type sort of visitor centre, and the vineyard is beautiful. It's like the perfect place to go for a picnic. So I would go down to Winchester and hang out in the Hampshire Downs. Yeah.
Last question.
Yeah,
now.
go for it.
It's a bit longer, so he's a friend of yours. Hi Joe, long-time listener, first-time commenter. My manager says the Spanish are lovely people but are terrible at making wine in every form. Can you please explain why he's talking utter gubbins? Love, your biggest fan, Jacob. Kiss. From Jacob Scooter Goose.
Jacob, that's time. So that's 10 minutes up. No, hello Goose. This guy, for the people who don't know me, I was born in Kendal. He's a very talented gentleman and barman up in the Lake District. He's a friend of mine. Yes, Jacob. Spanish wines are probably arguably the best wines in the world. I don't know what this guy's saying. It's total codswallop. There are exciting regions in Spain as well that are up and coming, which are really inexpensive. If you buy wine from around the Uchelra Kenya region and Yecla and Jumilla around Valencia, when you're there, you can buy really world-class wine for like €3. I mean, really brilliant stuff. And cava is now a far finer sparkling wine than it used to be. Of course, you've got sherry. The fact that Spain makes sherry makes it the best wine region in the world anyway, wine country. So yeah, Spain, in terms of the range of styles and the value for money and the longevity of the wines, beats France, Italy, Germany, everyone hands down, in my opinion. There we go. Thanks very much. Until next time.